and welcome to Finextra. I'm Emily Horler at Sibos 2015 and I'm joined by Anne Rutledge of Credit Spectrum. Thank you very much for joining me.
Hi Emily.
So what are the origins of China's domestic securitisation markets?
So that's a really interesting question. Many people don't know that the securitization market was only part of a general movement towards market creation that actually started in the 1980s. And there were experiments with securitization in the early 1990s alongside the creation of futures markets and stock markets.
So how has it developed recently and what shaped that development?
Right, so I think what's important to know about the early market is that it was truly experimental. There were a lot of deals, well not a lot, but the deals that came to market tended to be more municipal, more infrastructure, more sort of creative trial balloons. Some succeeded and others didn't succeed. But the idea was planted, and then in 2005, the government decided to standardize it, to actually sponsor it and underwrite it. And that is a very interesting development. You know, I'm at Sibos, and there's been a lot of conversation around how you take an idea, an innovation, and move it from the sandbox to the workplace. And this is something that China does very well. They have pilots where they actually create small markets that are experimental, and they allow success and failure on a small scale. So the ABS market, the domestic one that we know, began as a pilot in 2005.
So how does China's domestic securitization market, how is it poised to leapfrog the West?
Right, well, I want to tell a little bit of history in between when it was created in 2005, because obviously we had a financial crisis. Some parts of the world felt it in 2007. Asia was more affected in 2008. And that crisis actually stopped the market. And it didn't pick up again until the end of 2012. And the end of 2012, a new government was coming in, and they saw securitization as a kind of coordination and a solution to a lot of the dysfunctions in their own market. And I think what's really, really interesting about China's market that poises it to leapfrog the West is what China thinks about markets. So what does China think about markets? China calls itself a socialist market economy. And that means they believe in planning, but they also believe in markets. So they rely on planning to sort of allocate resources to different priorities, and then they let the market sort of distribute wealth, you know, its own way. And this is a bit different from the US idea of a market, because we think the market should do everything. Not the case. And I think the ABS market in particular needs a kind of governance structure that enables allocation and also distribution. So that's one aspect. Another aspect is that some of the rules and standards that really would have healed the subprime crisis may never be introduced in the West. At least the West won't begin. They won't initiate. Whereas I think China, given the market structure, given the policy structure, they are very likely to put these initiatives into place to make the market work better.
And thank you very much.
Thank you, Emily.
And thank you for watching.